Hello, and thank you everyone for the 1,000 subs. Now that I have at least 1,000 subs, I'm pretty sure that at the bare minimum, 5 to 10 people are watching these videos on any given basis. With that being said, I thought it might be interesting if I kind of explained who I am and my guitar journey. Let's get the basics out of the way. Yes, it is true. I am legally blind. Legally being the key word in that phrase. I do have some vision, but it is not very substantial. I know some people in the comments have been asking, are you actually blind? I'm not totally blind. Like I said, I have some vision. I have what they call congenital glaucoma, and a bunch of other stuff I really won't get into. I don't really want to get into exactly what I can and cannot see. It's a bit hard to explain. I don't have enough vision to drive a car or, read books without some type of assistive technology. So some people might be wondering, well, why do you say that you're blind? In the blind community, we've kind of adopted the term blindness to be like an overarching term that covers those who are legally blind and those who are totally blind. I know it's a bit confusing, but these are the terms my people have chosen. I started learning guitar when I was around 16. Back then, the big bands were like White Stripes and System of a Down and Disturbed and Slipknot. I really wasn't into a lot of the modern bands. I didn't start listening to White Stripes and, bands like Nirvana and stuff like that until like 3 or 4 years ago, believe it or not. And the main reason why was when I was growing up, I took a lot of musical influences from my dad. Stuff that he was really into was like Johnny Cash, Buck Owens, Waylon Jennings, and the Allman Brothers. I actually didn't even get into the Beatles until I was around 11 or 12 because, there were no Beatles CDs around the house. Honestly, the reason why I wanted to play guitar in the first place was I really dug on Waylon Jennings and his guitar style. If you ever listen to some of his stuff from the 60s and especially the 70s, it's very unique and he has his own kind of tone going on that I always wanted to implement. I started learning how to play around that time, I think around 2005 or whatever. YouTube was a thing, I believe, but it was nothing like it was now. There weren't any, hey guys, big boy Tony here for your guitar lessons. None of that, My dad taught me some of the basic chords, but I ran out and, my parents did, got some instructional DVDs. Esteban Instructional DVD Method for Classical and Steel String Guitar. And that taught me just, some basic songs, the chords, and just, how to hold the guitar. And then afterwards, I learned how to read tablature, and I still have this book. The first tablature book I ever got was the Beatles' One Album music book on tablature. And in fact, a lot of the Beatles songs that I play on this channel, I've learned from that book. And this might explain why, if you look at the channel, a lot of the stuff I do is just, 50s to 70s rock, Chuck Berry, Pink Floyd, Hendrix, stuff like that. And occasionally you'd see something from Nirvana or White Stripes. It's mainly because I'm still getting into these bands, believe it or not. Another way of how I learned how to play guitar is play along with the actual song you're trying to learn. Starting out, I really dug on Luther Perkins, who was Johnny Cash's guitar player in the 50s and up to the mid-60s. Yeah, it is very primitive compared to today's standards. It's extremely simple, just, pretty much like some very bare pentatonic kind of walk-up, walk-down things. But the simplicity of it is perfect for anyone at the very beginning just trying to learn just basic walk up, walk down kind of pentatonic patterns. I remember putting the CD in my PS2 and it took me, I think, an hour to just get a few seconds of a solo. But that was the fun of it, you would rewind the CD over and over again and just keep practicing, keep searching for these notes. I didn't know, what scales they were using. I knew what key they were in and, everything. But I didn't know, pentatonic box patterns or Dorians or Mixolydians or whatever. It was just going by ear. That's pretty much how I progressed for the first couple of years. And then in around 2008, I started listening to Hendrix for the first time, and oh my god, okay, I know this is super cliche, but listening to his stuff like The Wind Cries Mary and Little Ring and stuff like that, it was amazing. A lot of guitarists, they say things like, I plateaued, and I felt like I plateaued after 2 years of playing. But listening to his stuff, it's like a whole new sonic, plethora was opened up to me, and I was so proud of myself the first time I learned on my own how to do the intro to Castles Made of Sand, even though at the time it was kind of incorrect, but whatever. And then, I don't know, as I got older, I got into more bands like Pink Floyd and Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, and I feel like the best thing anyone can do when they're starting to learn guitar is to be a sponge, soak up as much guitar influence as you can. No matter what I was playing, one of the biggest things I always wanted to do, and still do to this day, is play chord melody, or I guess jazz guitar, or whatever. Just pick a song and play the melody and the chords at the same time, which I feel like I'm finally now, after like close to 20 years, starting to get better at. Because it was always hard for me to find people to play with. So I would be like, oh, if I can't find anyone to play with, I'll just get good and learn how to play the songs on my own. One other thing that even now that I'm still into, like after I, play my Black Sabbaths and my Hendrixes and, I always go back, believe it or not, to super old school Southern gospel church music. A lot of that old Southern gospel and, black gospel and just old school blues. And by old school, I mean like, pre-World War II. 3 chords and a call and response method songs. It's something very pure, and I feel like even though they're very basic songs, you can create so much melodic creativity in those basic melodies. So going forward, I have no intention of trying to make a career out of this channel. I really don't want to do any paid sponsors, and I think there were a couple of videos I'm like, please like and subscribe. I can't stand when people do that, because back in the old days in YouTube, they wouldn't even do that. If you want to subscribe, if you want to like, you'll do that. So you'll never see me be like, oh, please like and subscribe, It's just me playing my guitar and posting some Kitten videos, because Kitten is objectively awesome. And you might be wondering, what's with the Zelda and Mario parody videos? Okay, so back in like 2009 to 2013, I had another YouTube account. And I used to make a bunch of just, Zelda, quick, parody videos with a lot of friends. And that was a lot of fun. So I think doing that, even though it has literally nothing to do with the guitar stuff, I don't know, it's just a fun little project I like to do from time to time. So yeah, that's pretty much me, and the basics of my guitar journey and my influences. I even tried to get into heavy metal for a little bit. I got as far as Anthrax, and that's about as far as I could go. I'm not really into a lot of the other heavy metal stuff. I'm not saying they're bad music or anything, it's just, it's not my style, and it's not really the stuff I'm into playing. But again, I have great respect for those musicians and the people who can play that. Music is music, Whatever you want to listen to or jam out on, no judgment. Well, I hope this was enlightening, and check out for some more videos coming soon.